Okay.
Tonight on News 31, another hurdle in the battle to bring lower electric rates to New Hampshire. A preview of town meeting day, how to pay for education sure to get top billing, and the fight to stop the sale of drugs in our area, is it working?
Live from the WNNE TV studios, it's News 31 at 6 with Karen Myers.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Myers. A new setback tonight in New Hampshire's attempt to lower your electric rates. Public Service of New Hampshire, which is the state's largest electric utility, is trying to block the state's plan to open the electric utility market to competition. PSNH filed a restraining order today against the Public Utility Commission's deregulation order that came out on Friday. The order calls for PSNH to cut its rates by 19% next year and to sell off its power plants within 2 years, and says it can recover only 60% of its invested cost. In a statement released today, PSNH officials say PUC's plan would force them to write off $400 million it had expected to bill to its customers. They say the move could force them into bankruptcy. The company plans to file a lawsuit to recover those damages. Governor Jeanne Shaheen says she is prepared for a lengthy court battle, but hopes it won't get that far.
Well, certainly I'm hopeful that they mean what they say in their press release today, that they would like to continue to discuss the matter, that they hope that this will not be a protracted litigation.
PSNH plans to continue negotiations with the state while the court order is pending. Governor Shaheen is also facing a battle on her cigarette tax proposal. She wants to raise the tax 25 cents per pack. As News 31's Cynthia Messer reports, those who sell the tobacco plan to fight her all the way.
Light 100s in a box, please.
$2, please.
The cost of cigarettes may be going up if Governor Shaheen's proposal is passed, but New Hampshire's Grocers Association says raising the cigarette tax won't accomplish its goals of increasing revenue and decreasing underage smoking. Instead, they say it will cost local store owners.
A 25-cent a pack increase in Massachusetts gave me 40% additional sales. Any change in our tax can only take those sales away.
But lawmakers say the increase would still keep New Hampshire cigarettes cheaper than bordering states.
My view is we're going to continue to sell cigarettes by the pack, by the carton, by the truckload. I'm not sure that I'm proud of that, but it is a fact which I don't think this action is going to affect.
Burling says the tax would raise $130,000 a day, and that would go a long way towards reducing the deficit. But an economic impact study done by the New Hampshire Grocers Association seems to indicate otherwise.
If you go about increasing the cigarette tax, not only will you lose the sales of cigarettes, but you'll lose more than twice as many sales of other products as well.
The study also says the state would lose over 1,000 jobs relating to the sale of tobacco products. The plan, however, does have bipartisan support, though a vote has not yet been scheduled. Cynthia Messer, News 31.
While the cigarette tax is under fire in New Hampshire, it's the property tax in Vermont. Tomorrow is town meeting day, and it's this issue that is commanding all the attention. News 31's Bruce Lines is in the newsroom with more. Bruce?
Karen, the recent state Supreme Court decision mandating that each child in Vermont have an equal opportunity at education means the local property tax is a thing of the past. No one knows at this point what is going to replace that local property tax. That is a very big decision, and that's a decision that's going to be discussed at length tomorrow at many town meetings.
Those in favor of appropriating $5,000 for bridge maintenance for 1995, please say aye.
Aye. There's plenty to talk about tomorrow, and it's no exaggeration the changes coming to Vermont's tax system are the biggest in the last half-century. This is what the discussion is all about, funding public education. The state Supreme Court ruled Vermont can no longer use local property taxes to pay for education. So lawmakers have to come up with another plan. Right now, there are two basic alternatives. The Democratic plan would fund education through raising and sharing tax revenue. It would also impose a statewide property tax, raise the income tax, the gasoline tax, and the rooms and meals tax, as well as expanding the sales tax. Governor Howard Dean says he doesn't like the income tax portion of the plan, But
one of the good things about the Democratic House and Ways and Means plan is that it does get rid of the machinery and equipment tax. That's a bad tax to create jobs.
another plan with primarily Republican support takes a different tact. It would eliminate the sales and property taxes, and a gross receipts tax would be charged on all in-state sales and services. A gross receipts tax would not be charged at the counter, but businesses would accrue the money and then send it to the state.
The gross receipts tax is paid monthly or quarterly by the business owner on what he takes in, not on each transaction. And a low-rate, broad-based tax is very good tax policy.
Karen, big decision coming up in Montpelier on which plan to adopt. If people are confused about this, they need to go to town meeting and they need to ask questions because it's their tax dollars everybody's talking about. Back to you.
Well, Vermont residents will get to decide more than just issues tomorrow. Many will also elect their town leaders. A race in Woodstock is shaping up to be a strange one. There are 3 candidates running, but only 2 that actually want to win. A local businessman says he entered the race just to unseat 2-term incumbent Gary Wood. But when a 3rd candidate came forward, he wanted to pull out, only to find out it was too late.
I felt like I needed to be sure that there was a candidate who was actively going to run against Mr. Wood because, frankly, I voted for Mr. Wood 3 years ago. I felt like he's had a chance and hasn't really gotten the job done.
Marietta is now asking his supporters to vote for local banker James Pierce.
I just have jumped into this race because I feel with my experience I have a background which I feel could be really put to good use.
He probably does. But I have a lot of experience of being raised here in my life, knowing the community needs, been here all my life, and what we really need in reality.
Woodstock residents will get the final say tomorrow. And now for the history quiz question. It was on this day and what year that the Rodney King beating was captured on home video? The answer is coming up in This Day in History. But first, Vermont dairy farmers are going after the very people that decide how much they get paid for milk. Vermont police are boasting about a bumper harvest for one of the state's biggest cash crops. The number of marijuana plants seized during 1996 was way up, but then so was the number of people smoking pot and the number of people arrested for possessing and dealing. So here's the question. Is the war on marijuana working? Dan Tillman from our sister station, WPTZ, has the story.
Vermont State Police said more than 25,000 marijuana plants up in smoke during the past year. Despite that, it's clear the $30,000 spent is barely making a dent in the problem.
We've been fighting illegal drugs for years. I've been on this job 25 years, and it hasn't decreased.
Growers, dealers, and users are getting even smarter, moving their operations inside.
You're getting better at catching them. You're getting better at finding it. And yet there's more on the street.
That's correct. But I think, unfortunately, that's the trend in illegal drugs, no matter what you're talking about.
Critics of the war on marijuana say you needn't look any further than our schools for proof that it isn't working. And there are numbers that back them up. Over the last 10 years, marijuana use has increased dramatically among students.
In fact, between 1993 and 1995, the number of 8th graders who'd smoked pot in the past month went from 5% to 16%. The number of 10th graders nearly doubled, from 18% to 35%.
I don't think that the authorities are actually undermining the dealers. The more I fight it, the more it's going to be advertised and the more it's going to happen.
And while there seems to be growing support for legalizing marijuana, just look at Vermont's Grassroots Party, it doesn't appear likely that a change in policy is on the horizon.
If you legalize this, it leads to other problems.
In Burlington, Dan Tillman, News Channel 5.
Time is running short for Windsor's Cone Blanchard Machine Tool Company. The company shut its doors last month, setting March 15th as a deadline to sell its plant. The town of Windsor is giving Cone Blanchard until then to pay off its current tax debt. But if it isn't paid soon, the town may place a lien on the property.
If anything changes between now and March 15th, then yes, the Select Board will again look at, do we need to place a lien? Or if one of the banks starts anything against of a foreclosure type procedure. then we would again say, yes, we need to look at placing a lien.
Cone Blanchard managers were unavailable for comment today. A spokesperson says they were tied up with other businesses, but wouldn't confirm whether or not they were potential buyers. Vermont dairy farmers are fighting back against the very organization that decides how much they get paid for their milk. 300 dairy farmers have sent a letter to Washington demanding a federal investigation of the National Cheese Exchange. The exchange sets the price of milk nationwide. Many farmers argue the low price for milk the last several months is benefiting the milk processors and driving small dairy farmers out of business.
Pretty much produce milk. Like I said, we produce milk this month and find out next month where we're going to get paid for it. And no other business could even dream of operating that way.
Vermont dairy farmers eventually hope to strip the exchange of its power through the New England Dairy Compact or by allowing milk futures to be traded on the open market. We've got some snow coming our way. I haven't been able to say that in a while. Tom Hoyt is in next with your complete forecast.
And now, News 31 weather with Tom Hoyt.
So, Tom, how much are we supposed to get? You know, I'm so excited about this. I know you're going to say it's not a lot, but we can ski again.
Yeah, a little bit of snow. Oddly, though, southern areas are going to get more than northern areas. Usually the other way around, but today it's the other way around.
We'll take what we can get.
Like these little hand demonstrations?
I like that.
I can do other things, too. Evening, everybody. 27, 36, the high and low for today. Low humidity pressure is actually on the rise, things that don't usually coincide with a snowstorm, and we'll show you why those are occurring. We had a nice weekend, huh, with all these clear skies and bright sunshine. It did get to 55 degrees yesterday afternoon. I know on Friday I told you it would get to 60. It got to 55. What are you going to do? Bad weather this weekend back in the Ohio Valley, all the way back to the Gulf states, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, tornadoes and flooding. A lot more about that tonight on NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. There's our storm system right here, sliding off to the northeast, but sliding more east than north because of that high pressure system, which is giving us this cold airflow and dry airflow. And as a result, I think most of our snowfall is going to be south of the Tri-Town area, and by tomorrow morning, only an inch or two of precipitation. You can see that right here, snowing at Hartford, snowing at New York City, but the bulk of the heavy moisture is offshore. And again, it's sliding more to the east. It's going away and not up. So I don't think most of us are going to pick up all that much snow. Overnight tonight, the clouds will thicken up. Southern areas pick up that snowfall, farther south and east even more. So no big travel problems for that morning commute. And in fact, by tomorrow, the storm system will be out and gone. This secondary low will form to our north, and it's that's going to give us some clouds and snow showers tomorrow. Northern areas will pick up more snow tomorrow out of this. But all in all, nothing major on our national weather map, and temperature-wise, very good for sap flow over the next couple of days. I want to say hi to all the kids at the Grafton Elementary School today, which you access on a very bumpy Route 121. Had to get that in just before town meeting day. Clouds thicken up, a little bit of snowfall overnight. Northern areas where it does clear out will see their temperatures back in the upper teens. A bit of snow for daybreak, but no problems travel-wise or school opening and such. Sunrise at 6:23, a cloudy day for Tuesday with some light snow around in the morning. Sunset getting late there at 5:40. Here's your 5-day outlook. Kind of cloudy, no big deal, but again, temperatures in the upper 30s to around 40, back in the teens. Good for the sap flow, brightening up later on in the week. And Dartell Dodge of Newport, congratulations. A couple of tickets to ski at Burke Mountain in Vermont's Northeast Kingdom. Not a lot of snowfall. It won't be around for long, but it'll be fun to brush off 1 or 2 more times.
And the temperatures are low enough so that the ski areas can make snow overnight.
Absolutely. You're into the skiing thing
now.
now.
I really want to get another month in or so.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the Celtics are trying to get some more, and they got an early start today with a matinee.
They've been getting a lot in lately, except a lot of losses. Well, the Celtics tried avoiding a dubious record this afternoon up in Toronto.
And now, News 31 Sports with Chris Flanagan.
The Colby Sawyer girls basketball team had a wonderful season, and now it's all paying off.
Yeah, and it's hopefully far from over. What a season it's been. Well, the Colby Sawyer women's basketball team doesn't have to worry about being stood up. They're heading to the big dance. The Chargers earned the school's first ever NCAA Division III tournament berth with Saturday's 74-50 whipping of Anna Maria College in the Commonwealth Coast Conference Championships over the weekend. They will host the College of New Jersey, formerly known as Trenton State, Wednesday at 7 o'clock. The winner will play either top-seeded Marymount of Virginia or the College of Staten Island Saturday afternoon at the higher seeds' home court. Well, the Dartmouth women's basketball team, which knows a thing or two about waltzing at the big dance, won't be boogieing this year. It finished its home schedule the bang Saturday night against Yale. You might say Dartmouth blew right past the Elis. Big Green marching the beat of its own drummer. Second half, Erin Rewalt slips behind Emily Lyons and kisses two of her team high 18 off the glass. Good guys by 7. Then off the inbounds, Jem Parasu showing some giddy up. She swings all the way around and banks in the rock. 41-32 Dartmouth. And Javon Pinkston circling like a shark and goes for the kill. One of 11 second half turnovers for Yale, part of a 23-0 Green explosion. And yes, the Green faithful were loving it at Lead Arena. The senior connection, Salianis, the backdoor to JP. What a way to end their stellar careers with a 63-48 trouncing of Yale.
What's made the experience so special has been the community support, the kids, the families at every game. It's been unique and it's been wonderful. And for me to be able to share that with all these children and with all these families has made it mean so much more.
I just wanted to go out on a good note with the team playing well together and have a good game where we all played well and everyone contributed, and that's what happened pretty much, and just went out and had fun.
The Big Green finishes its season on the road tomorrow night against Harvard. Well, the Dartmouth men, meanwhile, swept Brown and Yale over the weekend to hold on to second place in the Ivy League. The Green finished 18-8, its best season in 9 years. Meanwhile, those Celtics, yes, your lovable Celtics, trying to avoid a club record 14 straight losses this afternoon. They visited Toronto. The Raptors have other ideas, though. They toss the hot potato around. Marcus Camby stuffs it in the oven. 52-39 Boston. Sees on the break, freshman Antoine Walker says, "Get out of my kitchen." Shamrocks by 2 touchdowns. Folks, it looks as if the tide has turned. Believe it or not, the hot shot Rook slams the door on Toronto. There's the final. Boston wins at 107-103. Well, for the first time in Big Green history, Dartmouth hosted the ECAC Women's Indoor Track and Field Championship over the weekend. More than 300 athletes from 50 schools competed. The Green finished 18th overall. In the 20-pound weight throw, this is UVM's Carrie Dupree. She wound up and launched one 16.5 meters. Good enough for 4th place. Big Green sophomore and Devlin had a busy weekend, not only competing in the 4x800, but the hometown favorite didn't disappoint, finishing second to UMass's Rebecca Donahue with a time of 2 minutes and 53.89 seconds in the 1,000-meter run.
I'm happy with everything until the end of the race. It kind of gets under my skin just the way the race finished off. I probably should have toughed it out for about 10 meters more, and I think I would have had it.
A busy weekend over at Dartmouth. A couple of notes to pass along. The Bruins right here in WNNE tonight against Toronto, 7:30. And the Colby Sawyer men will also be in action, not at the NCAA tournament, but the New England tournament. They'll play at Bowdoin Wednesday night at 9 o'clock.
So the Bruins without Adam Oates, Bill Randall.
Yeah, Bill Ranford. They're all
Bill Ranford, yes.
in Washington, and Jim Carey and the rest of the guys are in Toronto. So we'll see them in action tonight. We'll have highlights at 11.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, it was on this day in what year that the Rodney King beating was captured on home video? The answer is up next. One East Coast town still adorn their barns with whimsical symbols of good luck. Not just for the good luck, but out of respect for the traditions of the past. Charles Kuralt gives us a look.
Johnny Claypool tried his hand at many kinds of work way back when, until his hand found what it wanted to do. Now, a lifetime later, Johnny Claypool is about the last of the Hex Sign painters of Berks County, Pennsylvania. There were other artists once, hired by the Pennsylvania Dutch farmers to adorn their barns with starbursts and whirligigs and flowers. One symbol for warding off witches, another for good health and success.
Tulips represent faith, faith, hope, and charity. Your borders are the sea of life, smooth sailing through life.
Nowadays, of course, people no longer believe in the power of the signs. Or do they?
Women in particular say, I want that, and they read the back of it, and they say, fertility, forget it, I've had enough kids. I said, that's for the crops.
If it's the latest thing you're looking for, you needn't come to Johnny Claypool's corner of America. Here in Pennsylvania Dutch country, mostly what you see are signs of another time. Johnny Claypool's distal finks and mighty oaks and gaudy starbursts may not bring good luck and long life, but they do bring pleasure. And what would long life be without that?
March 3rd is recorded in history. Back in 1991, Rodney King was severely beaten by Los Angeles police officers and is seen captured on home video. And you say not a bad commute tomorrow morning.
Not bad at all. Windham, Bennington County, Cheshire County, a little bit of snow. That's about it overnight.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again tonight at 11 for the Night Report. Have a good night.